This isn't possible. Arthur, you actually hear me?
I knew that voice. I hadn't heard it in years. Because he's dead. My father. For a moment, I couldn't breathe. You don't mistake your own father's voice out of thin air. Not even after all these years.
That memory again. You've gone back to that moment, haven't you?
Aye, these talks of ours take me back. Quite a long way, actually. I was born in 1883, Scotland. A childhood of sermons and arithmetic. My father believed in work, not visions. God, not ghosts. I followed his pattern. Numbers don't lie. People do. I became a stockbroker, accountant, magistrate. If you had told me spiritual investigation would define my life, I'd have asked if you were unwell. Around 1918, a colleague pulled me aside with a name I'd never heard. John Sloan, a direct voice medium. He said he wasn't a performer or a man chasing attention. Just an ordinary Scot in an ordinary room and voices that weren't supposed to exist.
So naturally you had to go see Sloan and witness this firsthand.
Well, naturally. The room was simple in what is called a spiritualist church. It had a red lamp and about 20 chairs. When all the voices began, Sloan barely moved.
That's his voice. My husband.
He said my childhood nickname. I haven't heard that in 30 years.
Mother? Mother, is that you? Oh my God.
Arthur. Arthur. My boy. I live. You'll bury the body, lad, not the life.
You don't forget your father's voice. Not after watching the ground cover him.
So you didn't believe it until you tested it?
We tested everything we could think of. We held Sloan's hands and feet firmly, so he could not move. I knelt with my ear beside his lips while voices spoke from above us. Not a whisper, never a strange breath, no vibration of his throat.
And you're certain? No trick of sound? No ventriloquism?
I'm absolutely certain of it. We heard intimate family truths, the kind only our loved ones would know, and Sloan had no access to any of it. They didn't all speak at once. They came one after another. Each voice arrived like a presence entering the room, and each spoke these personal details to their person. They weren't vague, they were specific, vivid, unmistakable.
And you remember all of this so precisely, after all these years?
I don't rely on memory. I had every word transcribed at the time by Jean Logan Deary. She was a trained shorthand reporter. She sat in the dark with us, writing as fast as the spirits spoke.
So you have actual records?
Verbatim records, exact transcripts taken down as the spirits spoke. I had them recorded and published, ensuring the truth would endure long after I was gone.
And what did they tell you of their world?
You think our world is of mist and not real. To us, yours is the mist.
They described an existence more solid than ours.
We do not grow old here. All that was weakened in the body is restored in the spirit.
I heard them say this again and again.
Many arrive believing love ended with the death of the body and find it waiting as those who loved on earth are reunited here.
They said existence there is not idle. Learning continues. There are spirits who teach, who guide, who help, even assisting those who have only just arrived, and others reaching back to comfort those still in the body.
When did all this truly become dangerous for you personally?
Danger came the moment I understood the price of honesty. I wasn't simply a curious gentleman visiting séances. I was a magistrate, a servant of the crown. I was expected to be rational, predictable, respectable. And I knew that if I stood before the public and said, "I have witnessed intelligence communicating beyond death," it would shake the image of who I was supposed to be. But I couldn't deny what I experienced. I heard personalities who remembered intimate details of their lives on Earth. They spoke of conversations only known within families. They referenced events no medium could have invented. It wasn't vague sentiment, it was identity. They spoke of their continued existence, with clarity, with memory, with a sense of humour still intact.
Say, I'm curious. What else did those from beyond say about their new home?
They said the world they live in now is layered, with realms of experience that expand as understanding grows. They described colours beyond our spectrum, sounds that carry meaning rather than noise. They said their surroundings respond to thought, that intention creates environment. And they said this, and I found it deeply comforting. We do not drift in some misty emptiness. We are among friends, among teachers, among those we have loved. Life is fuller here, not thinner.
That's a lot to take in. How did it change your thinking about speaking publicly about all this?
Oh, it definitely changed me. Because once you see, truly see, that life does not end, the threat of ridicule becomes very small. If I stayed silent, I could keep my reputation. But silence began to feel like betrayal. So yes, I chose truth over comfort. I chose disclosure over safety.
When Arthur Findlay says he cannot hide the truth, he speaks for many of us back in the day. There comes a point when one has seen and heard and witnessed enough that silence becomes a kind of betrayal. Not of science, but of honesty. You see, the public thinks we chase fantasies. They don't know how many of us began as skeptics. They don't see the nights of private grappling. Is this madness or revelation? They don't know the cost of standing by what we now know to be true. When Findlay declares that he can no longer pretend he has seen nothing, I understand him. I was once there myself. And I tell you plainly, it is not bravery that forces the admission, it is conscience. The truth demands a voice.
Arthur wasn't content with private conviction. He gave his life and his legacy to this work. He took his own home, Stanstead Hall, this grand, beautiful estate, and donated it completely. He gave it to the movement, to the future. So seekers, researchers, and mediums would always have a place to gather, to learn, to investigate the truth of life beyond death. And he didn't stop there. Arthur Findlay wrote about everything he discovered in books that still shape the conversation today. Arthur wrote around a dozen books in his lifetime. On the Edge of the Etheric shared the actual voices that came through during his sittings with Sloan. The Unfolding Universe was Arthur trying to make sense of it all, that we don't just fade away when we die. Where Two Worlds Meet offered even more first-hand evidence, carefully recorded so others could study it. And The Curse of Ignorance was Arthur saying openly that people have looked away from these truths for far too long. I respected him because he didn't back down. He just told the truth as he found it.